Anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Um, my name is Megan Casiola. I'm the Vice President of Programs and Grants at the Alaska Community Foundation. And we are um, our mission is inspiring the spirit of giving, connecting people, organizations, and causes to strengthen Alaska's communities now and forever. And our vision is that we envision an Alaska where communities come together and have the resources to thrive. Um, as you can tell from this, we are a connector. We bring together donors from across the state and sometimes even from outside of Alaska to support Alaskans' needs. And one of the big needs that is here in the state, as everywhere, is funding opportunities for post-secondary education. And we have a lot of donors who are interested in funding scholarships for people who are seeking post-secondary education because I mean, clearly it's the kind of thing where you can very easily feel the direct impact of the funding that you're providing. And so we offer in any given year somewhere between 50 and 60 different scholarship opportunities. Those opportunities vary wildly in terms of the scope, the focus, what sorts of courses of study they support, but pretty much if you can imagine it as a post-secondary education opportunity, whether it's vocational or academic, we probably have a funding opportunity that's a fit. And we are really proud that last year, well, I guess it was technically this year, but last round of scholarship awards, we were able to run what we've called a universal scholarship application. And that means that we have taken all 50 to 60 opportunities, and rather than have to sort through, filter through all of the different opportunities and figure out which ones were the right fit for them specifically, now students can click into a single point of entry application platform where they'll start by filling out a survey of all sorts of questions that help us to determine what scholarships they're eligible for. And then the platform, it automatically generates all of the questions for the scholarships that they're eligible for. So they no longer have to sort through 50 separate pages on our website to figure out what fits them. We'll do that work for them. And that means that it's pretty much a given that if you know a person who is in or is going to be enrolling in post-secondary education, it's worth their time to at least start an application. They'll probably be eligible for something if they're an Alaskan resident. And so the other thing to keep in mind with our scholarships is that they're designed by donors, like I said, all across the state. So a lot of times they're really designed to be focused on that donor's particular interest or background. Sometimes there are corporate donors who are essentially supporting scholarship programs for the kind of careers that relate to their industry specifically. And so there's a lot of scholarships that are very, very specific. And then there are some that are much more open-ended. Our biggest scholarship was an opportunity that was $25,000 a year for 4 years. We now have a scholarship that is $20,000 a year for 4 years, so pretty close. And our smallest scholarships are around $1,000, but it all adds up. In 2024, at the beginning of 2024, when we ran our most recent round of scholarship opportunities, we had over 1,500 applications, and those represented over 600 individual unique students that were applying. And so we have somewhere between on average, students who are applying to our scholarships qualify for between 2 and 3 scholarship opportunities. When we used to require students to figure out for themselves what they were eligible for, most were only applying for 1 scholarship because they just didn't realize they were eligible for more than that. And so we've really increased the amount of scholarships that students are accessing. Let's see here. So just to give you a sense of the timeline, our scholarships open in January, mid-January. We do have 1 scholarship opportunity that opens in December, but that one is kind of unusual. Every other opportunity opens in January, and then those scholarship opportunities run through March. In April, our scholarship committees review the applications. And so if you can imagine this, we have different, every single scholarship opportunity that we offer has a different committee that is making the decision. So that means that we are managing a pretty massive core of volunteers who are reviewing the applications. If you are interested in potentially being on an evaluation committee, we are always looking for additional people to support the process of reviewing student applications. It's a really, really great experience. The students' applications and essays and their references are heartwarming to read. And so if that's something you're interested in, or you know somebody who you think would be interested in, please let me know. So in April, that's when that review is happening. The committees get together, usually virtually, but sometimes in person, to discuss the applications and determine the awards that are going to be made. And then by May 1st, all of the decisions will be made and go out to the students. We have, as I mentioned, a lot of multi-year scholarship opportunities, which is nice for those students who receive it because they're not having to apply year after year after year. And we are aware that while most of our scholarship recipients are on a traditional academic calendar, there are quite a few who are on a more non-traditional vocational calendar. So their multi-year awards may have a slightly different schedule for when we're distributing the funding. And so we'll work with them to make that happen. One of the questions, before I forget, that we often get is whether there is funding available for non-traditional students, people who are going back to school, people who are already in school in some way, not just graduating high school seniors. And the answer is yes, we do have scholarships for people in those situations. Most of them, though, are for specific courses of study. And so the best way to determine if you're working with a non-traditional student, whether we have funding that would be a good fit for them, is for them to go into the application and start filling out the eligibility survey, and then they'll find out whether or not there's something that's a fit for them. And let me just go ahead and switch what I am. Where do I have the stop share? Let me share this website. So we're in the process of refreshing our scholarship site. So I show this to you and know that by January, it's going to look very, very different. Essentially, this is the way our scholarship website looked back, and I mean, it still looks this way. We realized when we ran our scholarships last year that we needed to switch it because it still looks like you have to search through the scholarships and read them in order to figure out which one you're applying. But you can see we've got many pages of scholarships here. In the future, just going to have a link right in the front, just straight to the application, because that's what the majority of applicants are going to want to do. They're just going to go straight there. But we have lots of resources here for students, and we also, right now, it sounds like lots of people are in the midst of hiring. We too are in the midst of hiring. So we're going to have, starting with shortly, a program officer for our scholarships program, as well as a scholarships and grants associate. Both of those people will be supporting the inquiries via email and telephone that we get from students, from counselors, from teachers who are supporting applications that are coming in. Obviously, if you're working with anybody who's submitting an application, you can much more easily get a quick response from our team on the first 5 weeks of the application being open. Then in the final 6th week that it's open, that's when the vast majority of calls and emails come in. And so it takes longer for us to respond to them. So if you're working with someone who's filling out an application, encourage them to start working on it early rather than late, and to figure out what questions they have and start asking them early. We're also hoping to launch in 2025 the opportunity to ask questions via and reach out via text and not just email and phone. We know that that is a platform that a lot of people in their late teens and 20s and even non-traditional adult students really prefer to use. And so we're trying to make that happen before the next round of applications open. I know I have quite a bit more time, but really we have not much more than that to share. The key here is that we have a lot of scholarship opportunities. Most people who are going into a post-secondary opportunity are going to find something that they're eligible for, and so it's worth their time to apply. The application process is now pretty streamlined. A lot of times we'll get questions about, what's the best way to answer, like, how do I write the best scholarship application possible? I mean, in part because we have, between 50 and 60 separate committees of people, all with at least 3 people on them reviewing the application, sometimes many more. It's really hard to say there's going to be differences committee to committee, person to person, what kinds of things they're looking for. And so the best advice is to just be authentic to yourself, and then to do, basic best practices. Make sure that you spell check and so forth your essays, that you get a second eye on them before you submit. It's good to try to have a wide range of references from other people in your life. If you have a couple academic references, if you have a job outside of school, then getting a job reference, a reference from your workplace is worthwhile. Your after school job, if you're a high schooler, your professional life, if you're applying after a break in schooling. And also, it's valuable to have extracurricular recommendations if you're really involved in extracurriculars. And so, I mean, just the same basic advice that you would get from any generic website is generally true for us. And then the last piece for this group is just we're really, really excited and interested in receiving or connecting people with opportunities to review scholarships. So if anybody is interested in that, I'm going to stop sharing and put put the email address into the chat so that everyone can have that. And then I guess it might be best for me to take some time to answer questions. What do you think?
I think you've provided very great overview of your offering here. Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that, and it's exciting to know of your new platform, and it's so streamlined, the application process, and also the website revamp. Yes, ready for the January start. So, pretty amazing there. I wanted to ask one question: is FAFSA still required for your scholarship application?
Yeah, we have so many scholarship applications that do require it, that we make it a general requirement. But that being said, obviously we had to get by without it last year or this year because of the delays, and so we did. And that was a lot of our support inquiries. We were just reassuring students that obviously we were not going to penalize them for something that was an issue with the federal government. So, yeah.
For those unaware, FAFSA was 24-25 FAFSA was delayed, considerably delayed. And this year as well, 25-26 FAFSA will not be released until December 1st, but that is still a month away from the January start when the application process starts for the scholarships that you offer. So I will make sure to connect with you to include information on the Alaska FAFSA Completion Initiative and the resources that ACPE offers with FAFSA assistance, so that folks can come to us when they need that FAFSA assistance. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Megan. I will also, as I mentioned in the chat box, share the opportunity to be on the committee reviewing applications with my colleagues here. Would that be something that we connect with you if we are interested?
Absolutely. You can connect with me and also the scholarships at alaskacf.org. I normally would tell you specific names of people, but we don't have any. We're hoping to have somebody hired next week. We're in the process of making a couple of offers, so stay tuned. But that email address is going to get to everyone on the scholarship team, or you can reach out directly to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you see the chat box? Can you see the comment? Yes.
Yeah. I 100% agree that a lot of times students exclude themselves from great funding opportunities, and so I hope that this makes it more likely that students feel confident enough to put in an application when they see that we have identified them as eligible for a particular opportunity. They don't have to make that decision for themselves. All they have to do is start. The hope is that it breaks down a lot of barriers. And what we saw was that between 2023 and 2024, our applications almost tripled. And the main reason was the universal application. We had our unique applicants went up from somewhere in the 500s to somewhere in the 600s. So the total unique applicants didn't increase that much, but like I said, they were filling out more opportunities than they were before, because we pointed out that they were eligible for them.
Excellent. Please make sure to spread the word about these opportunities, because another thing is that students may not be aware, and that's where we come in, to make them aware and help them with the process as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Megan, and good luck with your scholarship team.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a
Take
great
care. Bye.
day. Bye-bye.